Well, as of this recording, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the movie came out, and of course, Marvel released this awesome epic collection so you could get in on the adventures of Star-Lord and his ragtag band of... Oh, wait a minute. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is a completely different book than you are thinking it is. It has the name, but that's about all that it shares in common with the movies. Yes, it's science fiction, I guess, but very different stuff. This comes from 1969 to 1977, Volume 1. And the Epic Collection includes Marvel Superheroes number 18, Marvel 2-in-1, 4 and 5, Giant Size Defenders number 5, Defenders 26 through 29, Marvel Presents 3 through 12, and Thor Annual number 6. So let's get into this and show exactly what the heck is going on with these superheroes here, who you might have never heard of a lot of these before. This is kind of strange as we learn about these characters. You actually get to see them through here. I forget all their names because I really don't know a lot of them outside of this book. You get Charlie 27, you get Martin X, you get Nikki, creative name there, Yondu, the last of the Alpha Centaurian weapons masters, and Major Vance Astros. So this guy's 1,000 years old, and he's right here. And he, of course, they hang out with Starhawk, who joins them. Now, in the first issue, you learn that Earth has been taken over by an alien race, and these are basically some freedom fighters going out and doing something about it. Here's the aliens who are controlling them, and there it is right there. So it's very interesting. It's very similar to, I'd say, Killraven, where Killraven, of course, the War of the Worlds, Martians took over, and then they fight back. But this is further in the future. Another alien race takes this, and that's it. Now, in this next event, the Thing and Captain America actually end up time traveling into this future in the Marvel 2-in-1. I love Marvel 2-in-1. The art is so crisp here. It's a lot of fun. Of course, starring the Thing makes it a lot of fun also with different crossovers. Here they are, and they are up against the evil empires here, the Badoon, they're called, which is very similar to Basum from Edgar Rice Burroughs, of course. And so I'm sure there's a lot of inspiration drawn there. And Sal Buscema does all the art in this. That's why it's so clean and wonderful. He's one of my favorite Marvel artists. Steve Gerber actually writes almost all of this epic collection, if not all of it. And that adds a consistency to all this as our heroes team up against them and actually get the Guardians to a place where they're safe. And then the Guardians are out and then can work on liberating other human worlds. A lot of fun. The Defenders are the next to encounter the Guardians. The Guardians actually come into the past at this point in this issue. And they open up this like rift in time that Doctor Strange has to deal with. And there's this creature that they're fighting at the same time. Then, once you get out of the annual issue, the Defenders actually then go into the Guardians of the Galaxy time. And we find out all about the Badoon race during this. Like, a couple people get transported away. They're hunting down the Guardians. Doctor Strange pretends to be dead in his normal form, but projects astrally. And they get transported to these different areas. They have a whole... one of them is they've got a arena fight, a very traditional, again... sort of Edgar Rice Burroughs-y style storyline. Good stuff. I mean, so this is quality science fiction, and I really enjoyed reading this. Again, this is the only issue with this is if you're thinking you're tuning into Guardians of the Galaxy like the movie, you're getting a completely random different tale right here. So, I'm sure some fans bought this book, or like some parents bought this book for their kids, and the kids are like, what the heck is going on here? This has nothing to do with what I'm hoping to find. They eventually find out that there's a segregation going on between men and women in the Badoon society, and the women are very different than the men, and they actually use that to kind of stop the bad guys and get them all on track and kind of get the Guardians of the Galaxy back to normal. After that, the Guardians of the Galaxy get their own series, kind of, in Marvel Presents, which I've already skipped an issue of. And in this one, Al Milgrom draws it, Steve Gerber. There's a rotating cast of people, and actually, Gerber ends up not writing a few of these at the end of this sort of storyline here. But we meet Starhawk, this alien from another galaxy, who's like, he's got a big mystery behind him where he disappears sometimes and his wife appears sometimes. Everybody's kind of like, what's going on with that? And that gets resolved at the end of this really cool storyline. But at the beginning of this, you see this ship right here. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. It looks very much like a certain other ship back in the 1960s. of a certain sci-fi program, which is the USS Enterprise. So the Guardians of the Galaxy really just act like they're Star Trek characters here, and they go around and they solve different mysteries in space and all that. It's kind of neat. And the first one's actually a devourer of worlds. So it's not Galactus, and it's this giant thing, and it's got its own like sort of world on top of it, which the Guardians have to deal with. So eventually it settles into a serial where they have a few like one-off adventures. One where they meet that Nikki character to add the female to the team. And they eventually go to Starhawk's homeworld at the end of this. And at that, they're trying to rescue Starhawk, who's caused problems. And you get his origin. It turns out that like they found this strange crystalline stuff that like he merged with like his this lady. And like the two of them like merged together, and so like they can't occupy the same space at the same time. Kind of reminds me of the way that like the Captain Marvel character existed, and he would jump places with Rick Jones for a while, like kind of similar to that. Very 70s stuff. I love just like the colors and the art of the 70s all the way around here. And so Silver Surfer gets in on this at one point, and they have to fight against this homeworld and fight against the people who created Starhawk, basically. Then they eventually figure it out, and you see Roger Stern actually takes over at the end here. And then you kind of get a kind of like extra issue where they're fighting on a space station, which has nothing to do with anything, and then it kind of has this extra storyline where in the space station ends up kind of being like sentient or controlled, and they deal with that, and it is kind of feels like a 2-issue filler kind of thing. Very odd. And then you get one more deal where Thor interacts with the Guardians of the Galaxy. At this point, Thor gets transported in the future, and they end up dealing with some bad guys, Korvac, together. For the final issue. So a bunch of one-offs. That Guardians of the Galaxy middle part where it was like had its own kind of book there for a while with its own kind of Star Trek-y adventures was a lot of fun. I love the art all the way around. This is classic 70s. It feels like the 70s. There's still some of that bravado sort of dialogue in there where it's like, and then the Guardians move to the next planet where wonders await them, things like that, where they don't do it in modern comics these days. But beyond that, Steve Gerber's dialogue is pretty crisp compared to most 70s writers. I'd say he's a lot faster paced than like a Don McGregor or a Roy Thomas, for example, which I thoroughly liked out of this. So pretty good. It's on the shorter side for an epic collection. It's got a lot of extras in the back, and this was clearly just an attempt to like cash in on the movie with the name. And it worked because I bought it. So I enjoyed it. Good stuff. I'd call it like a 7.5 out of 10 overall. Not great, but better than average slightly. So good stuff. All right. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.